Walmart is an American retailer founded in 1962 competing in the hypermarket industry. The following presentation will outline Walmart's capabilities and limitations surrounding their domestic activities and their expansion into the African market. The resource-based view of the firm suggests that the source of competitive advantage to a firm comes from the tangible and intangible resources at the firm's disposal. The VRIN model suggests that a firm's resources provide sustainable competitive advantage when they are valuable, rare, inimitable, and non-substitutable. Capabilities are intangible and tangible resources that are combined to deliver value. Any capability that acts as a basis of competitive advantage for a firm when compared to competing firms is a core competency. The capabilities of a firm can be used to assess if it has sustainable competitive advantage amongst competitors through the use of the VRIN model. Walmart's capabilities have been identified as the following: supply chain management, their large sales volume, their superior logistics system, their brand array, locations, price, and staff. To determine if Walmart has sustainable competitive advantage in these areas, the following analysis was completed. In terms of supply chain management in general, Walmart enjoys sustainable competitive advantage in their supply chain management. Walmart has a massive supply chain network, both in terms of volume of goods and services moved and the number of locations. Walmart's massive sales volume allows the companies to procure products in bulk from suppliers, lowering prices for consumers. Their superior logistics systems allow products to be delivered where and when they are needed, reducing the need for markdowns and wastage due to overordering or stock replenishment. To determine the sustainable competitive advantage of Walmart's supply chain activities, they must be divided into the key supply chain management capabilities where Walmart flourishes. These are logistics and sales volume components. In terms of logistics, Walmart's logistics systems are valuable, rare, inimitable, and non-substitutable. In terms of value, Walmart has always placed a heavy emphasis on its logistics systems and the accompanying technology. Walmart has stayed ahead of the curve with computerized logistics systems as early as 1974 and centralized logistics networks in the early 1980s, delivering value to the company as products are sent where they are needed efficiently and cheaply. Walmart continues to operate at an industry standard that, according to Bonachich and Wilson, is unmatched by competitors. In terms of rarity, despite the implementation of revolutionary technologies such as cross-docking and vendor inventory management, the rarity of Walmart's logistics hinges mostly on the complexity that the whole of the system becomes, not so much on the individual parts. However, nonetheless, their system is rare and is not easily found in the industry. In terms of inimitability, in the same vein as rarity, Walmart's logistics are inimitable based on the complexity of the systems and the experience curve that the company has built. In terms of non-substitutable, logistics systems are capabilities that are unable to be substituted by a firm. Walmart employs cutting-edge logistics systems that have historically allowed the company to reduce its floor space dedicated to inventory compared to competitors and reduce unnecessary markdowns. In terms of sales volume, the second component of supply chain management, it is valuable. The sales volume of Walmart allows the company power over its suppliers, allowing the achievement of massive economies of scale, the bidding of suppliers against one another, and the maintenance of strong profit margins. All tactics which work to reduce prices to end consumers and bolster their sales in a competitive market. In terms of rarity, Walmart is the largest retailer in the world, and thus enjoys buying power that is unparalleled by competitors. The company has a hugely recognizable brand throughout North America and other key markets, and as a result, many brands rely on the retailer to achieve their own distribution objectives. If Walmart chooses not to deal with them, they would be in peril. In terms of imitability, sales volume is not something competitors can copy or imitate. Therefore, it is inimitable. In terms of non-substitutable, there is no way to overcome this. Unless other firms are more intelligent with their supply chain management or ahead of the curve, in which case here they are not, due to Walmart's industry-leading examples, that is non-substitutable. This means, in general, supply chain management is a source of sustainable competitive advantage. Walmart consistently ranks in the top 25 supply chain operators internationally, as measured by the international watchdog Gartner. Walmart Executive Vice President Joe Harden is quoted by logistics analysts MWPVL as saying, "A lot of companies don't want to spend money on distribution unless they have to. Ours spends money because we continually demonstrate that it lowers our costs." The second major area, the Walmart's capabilities, is brand array. Walmart's brand array is extremely valuable. Walmart has deals with a variety of brands, ranging from its own personal branding to mainstream brands.
Walmart's brand array competitive advantage. Their old slogan is price and brand you love. Valuable, yes. Walmart has a variety of brands ranging from its own personal brand Walmart to mainstream brands. Rare? No. Walmart competitors Kmart and Big W also share a wide range too. Inimitable? No. Large organizations can provide a direct supply to all businesses, small or big. Non-substitutable? Yes, there is no substitute to a large variety of products, as it provides more options for consumers. Walmart's locations competitive advantage. Valuable? Yes. Walmart leases 70% of their stores, providing flexibility. Their rental expense is less than its competitors. Walmart was renowned for placing stores in areas where there was only 5 to 15,000 residents. These were areas that other large-scale competitors stayed away from. They targeted a market left vacant by competitors. They also had stores which were open 24 hours from the early 90s, a trend only setting in now. Rare? No. Most large-scale organizations don't own many stores. Walmart only purchased stores which they could further upgrade. Kmart or Target tend to open stores in heavily populated areas, making it difficult to do upgrades. Yes, inimitable. It is unusual for a large organization to open a store in a lightly populated area, as this could dramatically affect their profits and the amount of people that know about the store. Non-substitutable? Yes. The only option would be to purchase all stores, but that would be inefficient due to a lack of flexibility.
How have Walmart attempted to position themselves in the African market from what they initially were in the US market? How have Walmart attempted to position themselves in the African market? First, they've done an industry analysis using the IO model, pest analysis, and low-cost strategy. And then they have focused on their positioning strategy, which is the business level strategy positioning, which focuses on target market and competitive advantage. When looking at how Walmart attempts to position themselves in the African market, they have considered 3 steps. The industrial organization model of above average returns, then they go through to look at the pest analysis, and finally they follow through with the low cost strategy. First, we're going to start with the IO model. Although we do go into this model further on and apply it, it's definitely something we need to consider before even attempting to position into a market. These are potential factors that can make or break a strategic decision. These are the following 5 factors. There's economies of scale, barriers to entry, diversification, product differentiation, and concentration of firms in industry. With economies of scale, Walmart have potential plans to increase production due to the availability of resources in Africa. They are maximizing their target audiences with the most available resources and then being able to gain production and supply of goods as well as low-cost labor. Their supply can then hopefully increase profit gain in sales. With barriers of entry, although political barriers are common for organisations who enter into an international market, Africa has a welcoming political environment, making it easy for Walmart to enter under their existing political conditions, where harmonisation of laws are making it easier to do business there. Looking at diversification, these are the risks minimised through entering into a joint venture in the past so that any losses aren't at risk. It just minimises what might go wrong. Product differentiation is when Walmart is looking at a directed approach to catering to the target audience of young and enthusiastic consumers, and this is arising by having product differentiation, and although substitutes will exist, it's the delivery and exposure that will determine how Walmart can stand out in their market. Lastly, concentration of firms in the industry is when Walmart wanted to minimize competition by buying into the industry and starting with one of the leading competitors. They act to take over Massmart, which would stand out in the industry as a bold business strategy to create a first mover's advantage. We're now going to be looking at a pest analysis. A pest analysis is usually done to determine the industry that a market is potentially in. There are 4 factors that we're going to focus on, which is the political, economical, social, and technological factors. Starting with the political factor, the nation has been trying to come out of poverty and famine for years and is succeeding with the help of political rights, but it remains an issue that people who are not privileged with basic needs don't find the importance of a democracy because they feel they have already been denied those rights. With economical, Africa is the newest continent to find such rapid growth in order to eliminate other social issues and stereotypical downfalls in their past economy. Africa is predicted to have low funds as a nation because of their perception in the world as being a third world country. However, their market has seen a rise in economic growth due to their progress. The most important factors of the social aspect is to empower individuals to make business decisions on an international scale without having been rejected due to their pre-perceived notions given by the world scale. There is an obvious gap between the technology that is readily available and the knowledge that users have about them. Due to most of the users not being educated on the advancement of most products in the market, they are less likely to understand the importance of the technology in everyday advancements and to maximize their use. Environmental is looking at the level of resources, both natural and in terms of labor, that has been placed as an advantage to maximize returns without having to endure import costs on materials. A low-cost strategy will work best if the following are present. Substitutes are common, and in this case there will be local products that have the same offering under a brand name. Products are used in consistency, which is especially good for Walmart because it is a supermarket where people will have regular buying patterns because of the necessity of their products being sold, for example, milk and bread. There is a low cost for buyers to switch sellers, and where new entrants use lower prices to attract buyers because Walmart is not going to be known to all the locals. Low-cost strategy will go more into depth when used to explain competitive advantage.
Business-level strategy has the intent to create differences between the company's market positions and its potential competition. To position itself differently, the company must decide whether it aims to perform activities differently or to perform different activities. Africa is awakening. It's a high market of almost 1 billion people with huge resources and a young population. People spend when they are young. This quote by Christo Wise illuminates the opportunity that is becoming apparent in South Africa for entrance of new companies. South Africa has a wide range of consumers, and over the past 4 years, the disposable income of these consumers has risen by almost 25%. Walmart's main strategy is to take advantage on high poverty and low income, as the product and prices are attractive to this consumer base. Walmart's business-level strategy is a deliberate choice about how it will perform the value chain's primary and support activities to create unique value. Business-level strategies are based on 2 dimensions. 1, the target market, which can either be broad or narrow. Walmart's target market is broad, targeting the majority of consumers in the market. The second component is competitive advantage, which is usually based on low cost versus differential. Walmart uses a combination strategy of low cost and differentiation. They provide a variety of products and services with the same or better quality at a price that is cheaper than their competitors can provide. Walmart concentrates on finding ways to lower their costs by constantly rethinking how to compete their primary and secondary activities to reduce costs still further while maintaining competitive levels of differentiation. Their successful supply chain management is an important way in helping them to implement their cost leader strategy. A low-cost provider's basis for a competitive advantage is simply lower overall costs than competitors. Successful low-cost leaders who have the lowest industry costs are exponentially good at finding ways to drive costs out of their businesses and still provide a product or service that buyers find acceptable. Walmart's vast networks of supply chains, immense resources, as well as purchasing powers provide Walmart with a strong advantage of succeeding in a low-cost competitive advantage push in South Africa. Although in the past, even with these resources, Walmart has failed in attempting to expand internationally within Germany and South Korea. Walmart must be aware and adaptable to the consumer needs so the same mistakes are not made within South Africa. Walmart's overall cost leadership and differentiation strategy will lead to high entry barriers for competitors within South Africa. Their overall business level strategy position is the most effective and efficient way for Walmart to establish significant operations within the South Africa consumer goods market.
In order to answer the question, if Africa's market is an attractive one for Walmart to enter into, we have used Porter's 5 Forces model. This was used to assess the industry attractiveness, and for the purpose of applying this model, Walmart has been defined as belonging to the retail industry, however more specifically the hypermarket industry. The first element of Porter's 5 Forces model is bargaining power of suppliers. In this case, it is low. Supplier power increases when suppliers are large and there are few of them in number, and when there are no substitutes available. Although Walmart's size is large, there are not few in number. As this case has demonstrated, Walmart is now a worldwide brand. There are also plenty of other substitute products and stores available to Walmart. As Walmart is a large company, it is hard for suppliers to have influence over these firms. There are many suppliers within the hypermarket industry in which all are competing amongst each other for the retail firms. The high availability of supply within the retail industry therefore results in low bargaining power of suppliers. Walmart has limited the percentage of merchandise that is sourced from a single supplier so that if they have a good bargaining power over them. Therefore, based on the above information, the bargaining power of suppliers can be defined as low. Secondly, there is the bargaining power of buyers. This is also low. This refers to the pressure consumers can exert on businesses to get them to provide higher quality products, better customer service, and lower prices. Bargaining power of buyers increases when buyers purchase a large portion of an industry's total output and the switching costs to another industry's products are low. With Walmart, buyers have a lack of power due to the size of their brand. Although there is low switching costs for a consumer to another industry's product, Walmart has a commitment to keep their prices lower than their competitors, making it hard for the buyer to go elsewhere. Even if the buyers represent a large population, the diversity amongst these buyers, coupled with the purchase size made by the buyers, generally quite small, results in the buyers not being a credible threat and having low bargaining power of buyers over Walmart. In order for buyers to have power of Walmart, they must purchase a significant portion of the industry. Thirdly is competitive rivalry. This is high. Competitors are rarely homogeneous. They differ in resources and capabilities and seek to differentiate themselves from competitors. Walmart belongs within the hypermarket industry, a large sector of the retail industry. Within this industry, competitive rivalry is strong due to many players within the market of all different sizes and varieties. In Africa alone, there are over 20 different hypermarkets, thus making the rivalry high. However, they are a competitive advantage that they are a global brand with high sales. Fourthly is threat of substitution. This is also high. Substitute products are goods or services from outside a given industry that perform similar or the same functions as a product within the industry. Substitutes place a ceiling on prices that firms are able to charge. Walmart has a substitution issue when there are other product options available in a totally different industry. For example, buying bread from Walmart in the retail industry to buying bread at Shell service station, a specialty store. Therefore, the threat of substitution is high as Walmart belongs to the hypermarket industry, so there are substitutes within similar industries such as grocery stores or service station industries. Based on the high levels of substitute within smaller industries that can perform similar functions as Walmart, the level of substitution is high. The final element of Porter's 5 forces is the threat of new entrants. High entry barriers tend to increase the returns for existing firms in an industry and may allow some firms to dominate in the industry. There are 2 factors in the threat of new entrants. These include barriers to entry and expected retaliation. The threat of new entrants within the industry is medium, as although Walmart is a big player within the industry, there are many other small players such as independent supermarket retailers. However, just because they're able to sell some of the same products, it doesn't mean that consumers can purchase all of their products that they may need to, like they would be able to at a hypermarket. That is why we are classifying this as a medium threat. So, overall, the stronger each of the above forces are, the more limited the ability of established companies in the industry to earn above average returns. There's emphasis on the international markets to fuel its growth as there were limited growth opportunities in the domestic sector. Africa is yet to be explored by major MNCs and has political instability and poor economic conditions plaguing the continent. Some countries do have potential growth due to rising disposable incomes and stabilising political environments, such as South Africa and Nigeria. Walmart will also be good for competition by bringing lower prices and additional choices to the South African consumer market and Africa overall. As part of their contract, Walmart has to honour labour bargaining rights for a minimum of 3 years post their merger, and therefore it would create 15,000 new jobs. However, they may capitalise on their competitive advantage to force competitors out of business, thus destroying their jobs as well as manufacturing jobs due to the high level of imports. Based on Porter's 5 forces analysis examining industries, Africa is a moderately attractive market. The industry is attractive due to the medium threat of entrants, low bargaining power of suppliers, and low bargaining power of buyers. However, the industry is only moderately attractive due to the high threat of substitute products, as there are many similar industries that can offer a high level of competitive rivalry.
The internationalisation of Walmart has resulted in stores in 28 countries. The international strategy adopted in Africa was a transnational strategy with the entry mode of an acquisition. This is due to the centralised nature of Walmart's decision making, as well as the purchase of a 51% stake in Massmart, a local retailer. While many operational decisions, such as standardized products, suggest a global strategy, because the entry mode was an acquisition, they have kept the core business strategies of Massmart. The major incentive to pursue the African market was to gain access to consumers in an emerging market with high growth potential. The major areas of motivation include intrinsic and extrinsic motives. Intrinsic motives are about the organization's capacity and the efficiency it runs at. Walmart has developed economies of scale due to their power over suppliers. Extrinsic motives are about the specific home or host country and the industry competitiveness it operates in. There are location advantages in Africa due to the future buying potential and lack of international players, as well as a mature retail market and large population. The decision to undertake an acquisition in Africa can be examined using Porter's diamond of competitive advantage. There are 4 factors within the diamond: factor conditions, demand conditions, related and supporting industries, and firm strategy, structure, and rivalry. Chance and government impact all these factors. Factor conditions include a retail industry already in maturity, with a good backbone of supply chains, workers with minimum training, and established facilities. Walmart workers need little experience as they have technology that does the major work for them. Demand conditions include many citizens living in poverty, with 61% living on less than US $1 per day. This decreases their buying potential. However, some countries are improving, as mentioned previously. Related and supporting industries include a primitive manufacturing industry and the need to invest into distribution channels. The $100 million investment in supply chain training will work towards the level of efficiency needed. The current infrastructure network is a barrier, as it is estimated that the continent will need to invest $93 billion per year over the next decade to fill the gap. Firm strategy, structure and rivalry. Massmart was the second largest retailer in Africa before acquisition, operating in 12 countries with 6 major retailers in South Africa. The industry is in maturity with high competitive rivalry. Government has a large impact in Africa. With anti-foreign sentiment among consumers, it was risky to enter the market. Based on the factors identified, Africa has the potential to be a successful market. While it should be noted that there are high levels of poverty, they will not encounter the failures they did in Germany, Japan, and South Korea, as the products they intend to offer appeal to low-income consumers. The chosen entry strategy allowed them to gain quick access to the market, gain acceptance from the government despite their control over competition and entry of foreign organisations. However, negotiations with the acquired firm may cause problems, as they only control half the retail chain. The political environment in Africa is unstable. There is corruption and instability, protests, civil wars, and insurgencies. Corruption comes in the form of trafficking and piracy. Ongoing conflicts have led to increasingly high death tolls and violence. There is an ongoing civil war and many deaths occur, as well as damage caused by injury and displaced citizens. Nigeria has the highest death figures caused by political violence, as well as being the epicenter of conflict. Economically, Africa is one of the fastest growing regions. While extreme poverty has fallen from 57% in 1990 to 43% in 2012, this is still significantly high. The key resources Africa holds are minerals, and as world prices are falling, it is affecting their FDI. The combination of health risks such as Ebola outbreak, instability due to conflict, and extreme corruption leave Africa as a highly risky place to do business. The cost of business has increased and productivity and growth is decreased. The internationalization into Africa has huge growth potential. With a largely untouched market by foreign organizations, they can capitalize on their ability to provide low-cost items. However, the anti-foreign sentiment, government corruption, and extremely low incomes may affect their ability to capture the demand of the market.
Walmart is an American retailer founded in 1962, competing in the hypermarket industry. Domestically, Walmart has sustainable competitive advantage in their supply chain operations and their staffing processes based on the VRIN model. They secure profits by gaining discounts from wholesalers and passing these to consumers, achieving low pricing and capturing the market. In 2011, Walmart won a bid to secure a takeover of Massmart in South Africa. In their entry to Africa, Walmart employed a hybrid cost leadership differentiation strategy. Based on Porter's 5 Forces analysis examining industry attractiveness, Africa is a moderately attractive market. The industry is attractive due to medium threat of entrance, low bargaining power of suppliers, and low bargaining power of buyers. However, this is moderated by the high threat of substitutes. Based on Porter's Diamond, the internationalisation into Africa has huge growth potential. Which largely untouched market by foreign organisations, they can capitalise on their ability to provide low-cost items. However, the anti-foreign sentiment, government corruption, and extremely low incomes may affect their ability to capture the demand of the market. Walmart's entry mode into Africa utilised a transnational strategy with the entry mode of acquisition.